This is the DJI Avata 2, an incredibly easy to fly FPV drone with great image quality and long flight times. It comes with an upgraded DJI Goggles 3 that's packed with new features and the updated RC Motion 3 to control it all. Flying FPV drones can be really hard, and I've put a ton of hours into a FPV drone simulator and I still crash a ton, so I won't be flying manual anytime soon. But what's really great about the Avata series is their motion-based remote controller that comes with the drone. It feels like you're playing a game on the Nintendo Wii, and you end up getting some really sick-looking footage. Also, you can tell that I'm pretty terrified of crashing because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. And shout out to DJI for sponsoring this video and giving me a chance to test out this drone before launch so I can get this video to you guys on launch day. All right, let's dive into this drone.
The first question is, I'm sorry about the background noise, the neighbors are power washing. What was I saying? Right, the first question is, what's new with the Avata 2? Well, the camera sensor got an upgrade. The Avata 2 has a larger 1/1.3 inch sensor, an upgrade from the 1/1.7 inch sensor in the original Avata. That means less digital noise and a better, sharper looking image. This drone can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second in HDR, and on screen I'm gonna list all of the resolutions and frame rates it can shoot in. What gets me more excited is the fact that the Avata 2 can now shoot in 10-bit D-Log-M, meaning you can pull even more color data out of the footage you shoot and push the color grades to really get some nice looking results. And the Avata 2 has 3 different field of view options that you can choose from: normal, wide, and ultra wide. On the ultra wide end, you get a 155-degree field of view that utilizes the entire sensor, which in my opinion gives you the best looking footage. On top of that, that ultra wide field of view really gives your footage that kinetic energy as you do close flybys of objects and as you zip across the ground or water. Oh, and this is the most fun new feature of the DJI Avata 2, the easy Acro mode. It lets a complete noob like myself do flips, turns, and 180 drifts, aka J-turns. And it's literally as easy as enabling the mode, selecting which maneuver you want to do, then using the joystick while flying to trigger it, like using the joystick in any direction to flip or roll in that direction, or pushing the joystick to the left or right to do a 180 drift. I'm not sure how good looking or cinematic the flips and rolls will be in the easy Acro mode. I definitely need to play around with it more, but the 180 drifts, those are gonna look super cool.
All right, let's take a look at the updated design and build quality. If you put the Avata 2 side by side with the original, it's slightly wider than it, but you can see that it's also significantly shorter, making the Avata 2 even more compact than the original. But otherwise, we see a lot of the same design cues. We have the integrated propeller guards, which does a great job on preventing you from just outright breaking the drone on small collisions and keeps it flying. Something I noticed is that the sticker on the side says that the Avata 2 is rated at 81 decibels of noise.
So I thought, let's compare the noise level of the original Avata to the new Avata 2. Okay, so this is the original Avata.
Going dark.
All right, so that's about 2 feet away from me. I'm gonna fly it around and see how loud it is. I wish I had an SD card in there. I immediately crashed it into my tree. Flew and hit this tree, and it's on the ground now. It's fine. All right, now here's the noise level of the Avata 2. All right, so that's also about 2 feet away. All right, and let's fly it around and see how loud that sounds. Here are my thoughts. They're FPV drones, so they're gonna be loud no matter what. I wouldn't call either of those quiet. I will say that the Avata 2 is definitely noticeably quieter than the Avata 1. Not quiet enough to be stealthy, but quieter so hopefully you annoy less people when you're flying an FPV drone wherever you're going.
On the body, we've got a micro SD card slot and a USB-C port for fast charging the drone and for connecting it to a computer. And while we're on the topic of storage, the new Avata 2 has an internal storage of 46 gigabytes up from the 20 gigabytes in the original drone, meaning if you forget your SD card, you've still got space to work with.
Now, I know that FPV drones are catered more towards people who want full manual control so they can hit things like really tight gaps, but the thing about the DJI Avata 2 is it's also catered and geared more towards beginners. So it's nice to know that the drone has sensors on board to warn you in case you're flying too close to objects. With the Avata 2, it now not only has downward sensors like the original, but it also features backward sensors. So you'll get warnings in your goggles when you're getting too close to the ground or if you're about to back up into a wall or tree.
And the last thing on the drone to talk about would be the batteries. These new batteries remind me of the design they use for their larger Inspire 3 drone with these skinny but long batteries. The advertised flight time on these is 23 minutes, which was pretty close to what I was getting when I was doing my initial flights. 23 minutes is actually a really long flight time when it comes to FPV drones, but if you're picking this up because you want to have fun flying an FPV drone, I probably would recommend you get the 3 battery bundle, which comes with 3 batteries and a 2-way charging hub. That way you have a battery ready to go after your first one runs out. Plus, I love these 2-way charging hubs since they can also output power, turning it into a little power bank on the go. Now let's take a quick look at the updated Motion 3 remote controller. It's pretty similar to the original, except for the fact that the trigger can actually go outwards instead of just in. This actually lets you reverse the drone, which is super useful when you're in small spaces. Otherwise, there's not too much change. You still fly like you did with the original, tilting it forwards and backwards to fly forwards or backwards. You can tilt the controller left and right to turn the drone left and right, and it's a really immersive and fun way to fly a drone that anybody can pick up quickly. All right, now let's take a look at the new DJI Goggles 3 that comes with the drone. First of all, both the Avata 2 and the Goggles 3 use the new 𝗚𝗘𝗟𝗟𝗪𝗪 transmission system, meaning that you're going to get an even more stable connection and video feed with up to 60 megabits per second and a max flying distance of up to 13 kilometers or 8 miles. Now, you're definitely not going to get 8 miles of range while you're flying this drone because there's always some kind of interference like walls or trees. But what's good about having a stronger connection protocol is you're going to have a more reliable flight experience because oftentimes you are going to be flying with a lot of trees between the drone and yourself or a lot of buildings between the drone and yourself. And having that extra connection strength just means that you're going to be able to fly a little bit more without losing connection. If we take a look at the goggles themselves, you'll notice that there are actually cameras on the outside of the goggles. This is so that you can use a new feature called Real View PIP, which lets you get a video feed of the outside world without having to take your goggles off. And you can do it in picture-in-picture mode so you can see both the outside world and your drone feed at the same time. While we're in the goggles view, you'll also notice that you can use your RC Motion 3 controller as a pointer to navigate the menu in the goggles when you're not flying, which is a nice and quick alternative to using the joystick on the goggles themselves for navigating the menu system. The goggles themselves have some minor physical updates as well, with the layout being slightly different compared to the original. The battery for the goggles are actually now built in, so you can just charge the goggles directly. And it even has this nice tension knob on the back of the strap to tighten and loosen the goggles on your head. Overall, the goggles are just really nicely designed. The goggles also have a 3-hour battery life, which should be plenty for most FPV drone sessions.
And oh my god, I almost forgot. The Goggles 3 is compatible with the DJI Air 3 and Mini 4 Pro, meaning that you can fly those traditional camera drones using an FPV monitor. Now, you'll still have to fly them like a traditional camera drone, but the fact that you can get a monitor or a screen that close to your face really immerses you in the shot as opposed to, viewing your shot on your phone as you're flying the drone.
Okay, let's talk about the price and availability. On release, DJI will be selling the Avata 2 in 2 kits. The DJI Avata 2 Fly More combo with the single battery, which will include the Avata 2, Goggles 3, RC Motion 3, and 1 battery, while the 3 battery kit includes everything from the regular Fly More combo, but an additional 2 batteries for a total of 3 batteries, and the 2-way charging hub. If you're interested in checking out the DJI Avata 2, I'll put some links in the description down below. All right, that's it for this one. Let me know in the comment section down below on what you think of the DJI Avata 2. Have you flown FPV before? Have you not? If not, what's kind of holding you back? Let's have a conversation down there. And also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and get subscribed if you want to see more content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.